let's just get right into it. The entire complex, beautiful world of mathematics, the very foundation of all our science and technology, yeah, it's built on a joke, a biological punchline that we've all just collectively decided to accept as fact. I mean, seriously, have you ever actually stopped and asked yourself that? Why base 10? What is so magical about the number 10 that makes it the ruler of everything from our money to our measurements? You probably just assume it's because 10 is the most logical, the most efficient, the most mathematically pure number to build a system around. That, brilliant minds over the centuries chose it for its raw superiority. Wrong. It's because of these, your hands, the simple, fleshy things you evolved to grab stuff with. That's it. That is the grand, totally uninspired reason for our entire global decimal system. And there's actually a fancy term for this. It's called anatomical determinism. It's basically the theory that our math isn't some product of pure brain power, but a direct result of our biology. We didn't choose base 10, our own anatomy chose it for us. And what's really fascinating is that this wasn't some universal rule. Other cultures, with the same basic equipment, got way more creative with their built-in calculators. I mean, just look at the different ways people did it. Our system, decimal, is based on 10 fingers. Simple, kind of lazy. The Mayans, who were often barefoot, just went for it and used their fingers and their toes. Boom, base 20. But the really clever ones, the Egyptians and the Babylonians, they didn't just count their fingers, they actually used them. So check this out. Instead of just counting each finger as one, they used their thumb like a stylus to count the 12 knuckles on the other 4 fingers of the same hand. That gives you an instant base 12 system. And the Babylonians, they took it even further. They used their other hand to keep track of how many sets of 12 they'd counted. That's how they got to their incredibly sophisticated base 60 system. And yeah, that is why we have 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour, an elegant system born from pure anatomical genius. And this brings us to the most frustrating part of the whole story. The system we're all stuck with isn't just uninspired, it's mathematically clunky compared to what we could have had. See, it all comes down to one thing: divisibility. The number 10 can only be divided cleanly by 2 and 5, and that's it. The number 12, on the other hand, it's a dream. You can divide it by 2, 3, 4, and 6. That one simple difference makes dealing with everyday fractions so much easier. Just think about it for a second. We've all been there. Sitting in a math class, staring at the absolute mess that a simple fraction like 1/3 turns into in our so-called logical system. This infinitely repeating, never-ending stream of numerical garbage. And we just accept it as normal. It's ugly, it's imprecise, and it's a direct consequence of our 10-fingered laziness. But in a base 12 or duodecimal system, 1/3 is just 0.4. Done. A quarter is 0.3. A half is 0.6. It's clean. It's rational. It just works better. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Mathematicians have been arguing for centuries that duodecimal is a superior system. It's objectively a more flexible and efficient base for day-to-day math. We basically had a choice between a finely tuned sports car and a rusty tricycle, and we picked the tricycle. Okay, so if base 10 is so mediocre, how in the world did it become the undisputed champion of the entire planet? How did this biological accident manage to conquer everything? Well, it's because the real genius of our modern number system has absolutely nothing to do with its base. The real revolution, which came out of India around the 5th century, was a pair of brilliant innovations: positional notation, the idea that a 2 can mean 2 or 20 or 200 depending on its spot, and the concept of 0 as an actual functional placeholder. These two ideas were the software that changed the world. This new system was so powerful that it just started to slowly creep across the globe. Persian scholars picked it up, then Fibonacci introduced it to European merchants in the 13th century. It was way better for trade and banking, but it still took hundreds of years to catch on. It wasn't really until the printing press made arithmetic books common that it finally slowly pushed out Roman numerals and the abacus for good. So let's be crystal clear about this. We didn't adopt the Hindu-Arabic system because it was base 10. We adopted it in spite of it being base 10. We took this revolutionary new software, positional notation and 0, that just happened to be running on the old, familiar 10-fingered hardware we were already used to. And that brings us to today. Here we are, living in a world that is fundamentally shaped by this ancient, arbitrary choice. We are caught in a trap of our own making. Just let that sink in. Every single computer calculation, every financial transaction, every scientific measurement, it's all running on a system whose only real justification is the number of fingers we happen to have. It's not logical, it's just what happened. And really, that's the whole story in a nutshell. We started with our biology. We built a simple system on top of it. Then a truly revolutionary system came along that just happened to use that same biological base. It took over the world so completely over so many centuries that the cost of switching to a better base, like 12, would be absolutely catastrophic. We're stuck. So, the next time you type a number or do a quick calculation, just remember the bizarre, accidental history behind it. We've built this entire civilization, a digital world of mind-boggling complexity, on a foundation that wasn't chosen for its mathematical elegance, but for the simple fact that our primate ancestors had 5 fingers on each hand. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other limitations have we unknowingly built into our world, all because we just couldn't be bothered to imagine past the ends of our own arms?